Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar series. Today's webinar will cover a very exciting topic, the future of payments. During the last decade, many parts of the world witnessed a declining trend in the use of cash, but this transformation was relatively slow. The main challenge was changing consumers' habits and behavior. The recent unfortunate global pandemic have accelerated this transformation exponentially. This force majeure pushed consumers to adopt a non-standard behavior to maintain their safety. The pace of moving away from cash and adopting contactless payments have increased and became a major need rather than a trendy option. We at Doha Bank have experienced the same as the financial institution. Customer behavior, market dynamics, regulatory requirements, and business targets have all changed in the last year and a half. We have seen unprecedented growth in e-commerce and digital payment volumes. The number of contactless payments, for example, using Doha Bank cards, have increased a staggering 1,000% in 2020 compared to 2029. Doha Bank is also now leading the market in online payments and was recently awarded as the fastest growing online payment gateway partner in Qatar. We have very successful tie-ups with several aggregators, payment service providers, and fintechs. This fast-growing partner ecosystem have supported us to achieve our growth and helped us provide better services to our customers. Doha Bank has embedded partnerships at the core of its strategy. We are proud to be one of the most preferred banks for partners in Qatar. And speaking of partners, we have very interesting guests today. We have Mr. Noman Gol, CEO of Twila Technology, Mr. Abdul Mohsen Al-Yafai, co-founder and COO of C-Wallet, and we have Mr. Suruj Dutta, partner and leader for payments and financial services at Ernst & Young. Dr. Sita Rahman, Doha Bank CEO, will be moderating today's webinar. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. What an interesting and exciting, defining moment we are in. We live in a changing world, extraordinary set of changes and challenges we are witnessing, and every day is a new day. Inspirational, sometimes motivational, I should say. So much acceleration in terms of redefining personally, professionally in this interconnected, interdependent world. Of course, COVID-19 is a tragedy in substance. World over, if you look at a bigger picture, human risk, social risk, economic risk, environment risk are all enlarging on a daily basis. Many variants are showcasing its toes. 221 million people in global terms were impacted. We lost nearly 4.44 million people. That's huge. It's tragic, truly, to the humanity. Qatar itself, we lost 601 persons. Qatar's wise governance managed so professionally well in all the dimensions which I mentioned. And damage control has been well executed. Today, we have over 80% eligible population has been vaccinated, double dose. The financial measures, the economic measures, the convergence of the monetary policy and fiscal framework across the globe has set in some solvency to the changing face of the world. But sustainability is the name of the game. Sustainable development is what is required. If you look at the major picture in terms of the changing face of the economics to start with, the global growth was a contraction last year. That was around 3.2%. When it comes to revival this year, the prudent measures taken in terms of financial stability, economic alignment, convergence of politics and economics have made sure we have a clear roadmap in terms of recovery. Now we are seeing a possibilities of 6% in real order for the global growth. The recent International Monetary Fund projection in July has showcased clearly advanced economies are fast-tracking their recovery mechanism. Essentially, they're going to do around 5.6% as against the original projection of 5.1%. When it comes to developing economies, emerging markets, perhaps they should be doing around 6.3%. They have slowed down in terms of the overall vaccination administration. So that has destabilized a bit in terms of productivity, but still, they arguably, incrementally, they are doing well. Now, when it comes to the market momentum, this is what the revelation is all about from the IMF. Now, recognition of the fact we need to redefine ourselves. I'm sure Suruj is going to take care of the subject when it comes to reorganization in terms of business modeling. We have seen the digital ecosystem itself is going through extraordinary set of opportunities. The rapid acceleration, which my colleague Mr. Sharif has mentioned, is we are seeing even to redefine the financial service like us. We run a 110 billion Qatar Riyal balance sheet, over $30 billion, lending and investments, deposits, and borrowings across the globe with 20 different countries we operate. We know unless we redefine ourselves, we don't have sustainability. And that's what we need to do. Recognition of the fact your revenue generation has to be redefined with an enhancement. Ensuring rationalization has been the profound long-term value to be more cost-effective and convenient for the customers. Restructuring of a debt world over, we have seen debt servicing capacity has been impacted. Business is disrupted. When a business is disrupted, your ability to generate revenue has been at stake. So globally, over 30 trillion has been supplemented to improve liquidity so that the financial stability comes in. We want to make sure business continuity is on from the disaster. And that's why sustainability matters. Every country, Qatar has put 75 billion Qatar Riyal, and again, postponing the installments, interest, and small and medium-sized entrepreneurs have been given an enormous amount of support, including some of the free facilities. So those are testament to see that economic recovery is in the prospects, but at the same time, reorganization of the business model, digital ecosystem, if you carefully see, it is interesting, exciting. We are really stepping into fourth industrial revolutions. And that's the change. The rapid acceleration we are witnessing today is going to improvise our way of living. We are more than ever interconnected, interdependent on each other. And that's why we need to understand there's no substitute for recognizing human dignity and human prosperity, eradication of extreme poverty, of gender equality, or global warming and climate change, healthcare for all, education for all. Now it's all radically getting redefined to support the convergence in real order between technology and redefined business model and the physical existence. So this is a new phase of the world, interesting world. One thing we know, our future generation is going to be better than we are. And that's the purpose, isn't it? We want to make sure we create a better world and better citizenship in this world. If that is the case, how? The payment mechanism will redefine, because this is an important opportunity. We thought it's appropriate to bring in this literacy to our relationship with our collaborative speakers today. They're all distinguished speakers and professionals in their own dictum. Let's see, what are the basic changes we are witnessing? Building a digital ecosystem is a key, and it's evolving to be a fine combination.
The goal in the transition from cash to digital payments is building a strong digital payments ecosystem. That means putting in place the technology, the partnerships, and the rules needed for digital payments to operate effectively. When the system works, more people will use it. When enough people use it, a tipping point is reached where it becomes harder to stay outside the digital payments system. Let's look at who plays a part. Governments set digital payments regulations and enforce them. They can also lead by example by making and receiving payments like salaries, pensions, and taxes electronically. Financial institutions issue accounts that enable electronic transfers. Payment companies authorize and settle transactions between payers and payees. Telecommunication companies transmit transactions between devices. They provide electronic channels to access financial services, and businesses and individuals make and accept electronic payments for the things they buy and sell. Building a strong digital payments ecosystem means linking these people and organizations in a way that shares the benefits of digital payments efficiently. To do this, government, business, development organizations, and individuals need to work together from the start.
That's the key. Collaboration is the key. As shown in the video, government, business, everyone has to, private business or public-private partnership, telecom companies, technology companies, look at the enormous value creation the fintechs have shown. Some of our leaders are here. So essentially, coming together when it comes to ecosystems in the payment side, whether you are an acquirer, like Bank of America or Global Payments, or issuer, bank like us, or Visa, or MasterCard, or for the matter, American Express, credit associations, credit card associations again, gateways, PayPal, Stripes, name it. So you have enormous opportunity to come together in addition to independent sales organizations. Here comes another technology, contact payments. Watch this clip.
Michael, you mentioned small businesses as part of this. Give us a sense of what you're seeing with MasterCard, by the extent to which small businesses are drawing down on their credit as a practical matter, putting it on their credit card, or for that matter, just not buying things at all, maybe with reduced activity.
Well, we're certainly seeing an impact here. People are focusing on essential purchases like groceries and pharmacy purchases. There's a big movement from brick and mortar to e-commerce. But even where there is brick and mortar, where people are going face to face, we're seeing a big rise in what we call contactless payments, about a 40% growth around the world, and people going and just tapping their card because they don't want to hand over their card to somebody. They don't want to handle cash. They don't want to have to put in a PIN number. And so being able to just tap and go is a safe and secure way of making payments.
That's essence. 40%. That's rapid acceleration, especially this pandemic has created. Who's saying it? Michael Froman, MasterCard Vice Chairman. That's interesting. Then if you look at the explosion in mobile wallet, that's another interesting development. Watch this, the space at which it is getting in and the pace at which it is reorganizing the payment mechanism. It is very interesting to watch this clip.
Mobile wallets have become a major buzzword and are a growing factor in payments. So what are they, and how can you start benefiting from them in your e-commerce business? A mobile wallet is software that stores a shopper's payment details, like credit cards or bank account information, and allows the shopper to use that information to easily make a payment or purchase. Some examples include Apple Pay, Android Pay, MasterPass, and Visa Checkout. The main benefit of a mobile wallet is to make checkout quicker and easier across devices and more secure, because the shopper doesn't have to re-enter their card and billing details every time they make a purchase. How do you benefit from this as a merchant? Well, since checkout is easier for the shopper with a mobile wallet, then you can increase your conversion rates by just allowing your shoppers to pay using a wallet. Removing an obstacle to checkout means that fewer shoppers will abandon the shopping cart and more will finish the checkout process. So how do you enable shoppers to pay using a mobile wallet? If you're using BlueSnap's Buy Now hosted checkout pages, these payment options are built in. Simply enable them in your account settings and they'll appear on your checkout pages. If you're using BlueSnap's payment API, you can offer these mobile wallets by adding the relevant wallet button to your checkout page, and then using the wallet info to process the transaction through the API as usual.
That's it. The message is adoption of digital payments will contribute to surge in spending in mobile wallets. And that's the name of the game, isn't it? Now, another interesting development is fintech. The kind of diversity they brought in, ease and convenience, cost effectiveness, and the value chain they have embarked in is going to be a beauty for the entire payment industry. And a significant portion of the fintech are all on this industry, payment industry. Now, watch this clip.
Global investment in the fintech sector has reached almost $100 billion since 2010. If you look at 20 of the world's major economies, you will see that about 30% of their citizens use at least 2 different kinds of fintech services. In China and India, over 50% of consumers use tools like money transfers and borrowing and financial planning services, which are part of fintech. Many businesses whose models were based on the use of cash are adapting to the change. More and more, the traditional banking payment services that baby boomers grew up with are changing. Today, it's not unusual to see iPads equipped with card readers, retail outlets and services that only exist online, or people paying bills using e-transfers. The rise of peer-to-peer payment platforms has meant that people can make payments without going through a bank or using cash. It's made paying for things more convenient, especially online. However, fintech payments also have their issues. As more payment systems go digital, cyber attacks become a bigger risk. Digital currencies like Bitcoin are not accepted in most places, and their value can go up and down like a yo-yo. Fintech is changing the way the world operates financially, and the opportunities are exciting. Nevertheless, its challenges are real, and they're only going to get bigger as more of the world embraces it.
This is only going to get bigger. Look at PayPal. Look at Stripe, TransferWise, Headnote, Flywire, Venmo, name it. They're all global giants. And in this part of the world, we are also seeing the rapid acceleration. It's going to redefine the space in terms of customer convenience. Next, we have to look at the big data. That's completely getting monetized. So, very interesting phase. Information is power, we know. The data, big data now, is going to play a significant role in terms of analytics and again, how to redefine your personal life and professional life to make sure everything is effective, optimized, value-driven.
Connecting user data from the intelligent edge to the core data center can have some big effects on a retail environment. Here's how it works with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. At the edge, as customers enter your store, their smartphones connect to your store's app. In-store sensors track all customer activities as they move around the store and select merchandise. Back at the core, customer profiles and corresponding sensor data are analyzed. Personalized location-based sales promotions are automatically pushed to each customer while they shop, as well as real-time recommendations based on customer profiles and helpful navigation of the store for items on a preloaded shopping list. Checkout is as simple as walking out the door. An online invoice is sent directly to the customer's smartphone using preloaded payment information. By harnessing data coming in from the edge, everyone wins. Customers benefit from faster, more personalized shopping experiences. You benefit from gaining insight into customer choices and shopping practices, more effective inventory management, and even recapturing lost purchases in-store with online ordering options.
We have data analytics is a catalyst for convergence. That's what we are understanding this. And gives greater convergence between lending and payments. So it's all data-driven. So what does it mean for the future? That's what we need to articulate, isn't it? The world is becoming cashless. Even during this pandemic, more than the physical interface, the digital box, high voltage digital boxes, cash deposit boxes or cash withdrawal boxes have been widely used. As Sharif has just mentioned, we are seeing an enormous amount of transaction-based processing getting shifted from brick and mortar to digital advantage. Customers see the value in it. So there are countries who have experimented it, and they have showcased enormous amount of discipline in ensuring this is the right way to go. Sweden is a classic example. Watch this story. So Nordic countries, in substance, they are in rapid acceleration in P2P to enter payment mechanism through cashless accountability. And this clip will testify that.
Sweden is predicted to become the world's first cashless society by March 2023. By then, cash will no longer be used as a means of payment in Sweden. Sweden has long been open to embracing new technologies, and its financial system is no exception. In 1661, Sweden was the first country in Europe to introduce banknotes. If Sweden does become a cashless society in 2023, it will have taken 362 years to transition from being the first to adopt banknotes to being the first to stop using them. Over the past few years, almost all purchases in Sweden have been made electronically by debit or credit cards using contactless chip and PIN cards, which have replaced the less secure cards with magnetic strips. More than 80% of all retail transactions in the country are now conducted electronically. This is similar to the decline in cash in other Nordic countries, including Finland, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland.
I personally visited Finland. I've seen the transformation in the society itself. That's a beauty to watch. 100% digital by 2023 Sweden. Look at the acceleration. What is next? It means it's not necessary at individual level. Institutions, countries, continents are getting converged on becoming cashless. Internet of Things is going to play a big role in the whole acceleration. For payments, Internet of Things means that consumer can pay almost any way possible. Watch this clip.
Brennan's home. Did you find a lamp for your dad's room?
I think so. What do you think?
I think it's a lamp.
Yeah.
Great, let's go pick it up. Call us a car?
Locating available car.
Use our Visa card to pay now.
Come on, Brandon, let's go.
Whoa, why? Hello.
How can I help you?
I'm looking for a TV I can mount on the wall.
Sure. Here's what we have in stock.
This one looks good.
I'll add it to your cart. Which payment plan would you like?
Let's do 12-month installments.
Tap here to check out.
Interesting, isn't it? The way we live has changed. Next comes open banking. That's some huge revolutions, and application programming interface are all going to change the payment mechanism. That's a new kind of gateway to payments. And API is a game changer in substance. Let's watch this clip.
Over the last decade, large and successful digital players in various industries have used open application programming interfaces, or APIs, to connect their services with apps and websites of third parties. Today, open API technologies have evolved to an extent that allows them to be applied by the financial services industry, where security is key. This opens up new opportunities for banks and other financial services providers to offer innovative digital services themselves. The emerging business model, open banking, empowers end customers to control and share their personal account data with third parties of their choice through offering a new range of products. As a result, financial services become more relevant in the digital space for end customers, and compliance with new regulation is made easier. By embracing open banking, banks can build on their key assets, trust, reach, and know your customer to grow digitally.
It's an extraordinary transformation. It's private banking or treasury or trade, everything is getting redefined. So digital-only bank will play a bigger role. Then comes a huge fire, that is artificial intelligence. That can change everything and anything. And that's where we need to understand this is going to redefine the payment mechanism. Watch this.
Did you know? Every time you use your card, Visa's AI is learning. Every purchase you make helps Visa get even better at protecting your next transaction. Visa's AI doesn't know your name or exactly what you bought. It sees activities and patterns to learn what your typical purchase behavior looks like, so that even before you make your first purchase, we can spot suspicious activity. For every attempted purchase, Visa's AI assesses fraud risk so that the bank that issued your card can approve or deny the transaction, or send a text asking you to confirm an unusual payment. Let's take a closer look at how it works. Every Visa account has a profile of previous transaction data. Each time you buy something, the account profile is updated and compared to the spending behavior of more than 3 billion other accounts, making roughly 180 billion annual transactions. This behavior is grouped into clusters, and your account could be in hundreds or thousands of these groups. The activity in these clusters helps Visa understand whether a transaction fits a pattern or departs from the norm enough to be flagged as high risk for fraud and possibly declined by the issuer's bank.
That's the way the artificial intelligence is on the payment side. Again, on the facial recognition side, it's doing a lot. Can we rope in everyone? Rich or poor, income inequality needs to be fine-tuned as per the global sustainable development goals. Now, we need to understand financial inclusion is the key. That's my last part. We have to understand financial inclusion is going to change the game in terms of getting gross welfare to global human prosperity. That is the key. The payment industry is doing that in substantive terms.
Give us a sense of what this initiative is. As I say, it's an expansion, as I understand, of what you have been doing.
Well, that's right, David. Thank you for having me. About 5 years ago, MasterCard committed to bringing 500 million people who had been excluded from the financial system into the system. We achieved that goal last quarter, about 9 months ahead of schedule, and we decided that now more than ever, it's important to make sure people have access to the digital economy. So we doubled down. We've raised that goal now to 1 billion between now and 2025. We've also said it's really important to bring 50 million micro and small businesses into the economy. And because there continues to be a gender gap when it comes to financial inclusion, women tend to lag about 9% behind men in terms of being included. We're going to focus in particularly on reaching 25 million women-owned or women-run businesses around
That's the
world.
change. There is no intermediary. There's no middleman. You get in and rope in everyone to be directly credited. There's social security or pension or any payments to be made by the exchequer. That is a direct method. So you know the recipient is standing to gain. Just to conclude, if you look at the big picture, today's changing face of the world, payment industry trends are quite mind-boggling, interesting, because data is the most valuable resource, number one. Number two, providing a seamless and secure mechanism. So you don't have, even fraud detection. You can look at objectively and mechanize it to see that it is error-free. Payments are going to be truly global and contribute to financial inclusion. And this is the message I want to give in terms of concept. The light speakers, they have their efficiency in their own verticals. And let me invite them one by one to enlighten you. What are the changing face in terms of the payment industry, which is in store for an exciting future forward? Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite CEO of Tuala Technologies, and Mr. Norman Gull. He is a leader in his own discipline, and I'm sure he has got some interesting to present. Please, Mr. Norman, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sita. It was a very comprehensive introduction. After seeing your presentation, I'm just wondering, am I going to repeat that same topic in a different way, or it will be more? I'll try to make it more interesting for everyone. So good afternoon, everyone. Let me start with this, that by 2025, people are going to look more and more for digital payments. So it's getting more important now and in the future as well. And the reason behind that is the philosophy of users and consumer behavior is also changing. That means they are looking for more seamless experience, real-time data, integrated payment, which means in a simple way, if you are online, you like something, you like to click it, and you like to buy it. So that means it should be simple and easy to make transactions online. Now, millennials are by far the highest adopters of the digital payments, and due to the COVID, the contactless payment requirement the usage has also gone up by 55%. Now there are different modes of payment which are available now, and we will see new ones in coming years as well. So at the moment, we are probably using credit cards, contactless payments, online, mobile money. QR code is also an upcoming one. Watch payment through smartwatches. As you see, different banks are also promoting that they accept different payment methods via smartwatches, via Apple Pay, and so on. So that's the trend. Now, there are different benefits the digital payment offers, and this is particularly important those who still believe in doing transaction on cash. So the digital payments really offer cost savings in terms of paper, in terms of speed and time, and human resource as well. And it also offers a transparency and security for financial institutions and regulators to offer this into the ecosystem. Financial inclusion means, if you are part of this ecosystem, that you can get an access to the range of financial services that the entities or the contributors to the ecosystem are offering to the market. It also offers the inclusive growth, which Dr. Sita have also mentioned. That means it basically unlocks the economic opportunities for those who are financially excluded. So there are clearly a number of benefits which digital payments are offering to the market. Payments can contribute. Let's take an example of remittance. What happened in Qatar last year due to the lockdown? The financial institution, the banks, and the money exchange were not physically accessible to the public. So what happens is you saw technology companies coming up and the money exchanges are coming up with the option of paying and doing remittances online via app. And now, since we are moving towards post-pandemic and we are moving towards recovery, we see people tend to stay with the online remittance mode rather than visiting the facilities physically. Another way, another sector is the consumer payment, for example. The trend have gone up for online purchases where customers feel more confident that the products are of standard and the qualities are not compromised, and if they are repetitive, people tend to buy things more online. Another one is the point of sales. You see in the market now there are smart POSs are available, which is not only offering the credit card transaction, but it also offers other features like social media integration, loyalty program, and so on and so forth. So there are definitely a lot of sectors where digital payment can contribute. Healthcare is another sector where telemedicine and other solutions can be integrated and payment can be done seamlessly. Let me give some worldwide global trends. As you see, it is estimated by 2024, the average transaction value per user is going to rise up to $38,000 per year, which means by 2022, this is a growth of 121%, which comprises 88% of all banking transactions. It's also estimated Apple Pay, Google, and Samsung Pay, these are the three major players, collectively is going to own 56% of the complete market share of mobile payments, which means we are going to see an average growth of 28% in the mobile payments in the next 5 years globally. Another area is a digital lending, P2P, and it's going to hit by 2025 about $1,000 billion, which is about $1 trillion market. When it comes to the fintech largest market segment, it will also be digital payment by 2024. Let's look at a little bit about the market potential in Qatar. As you see, Qatar is having the highest penetration rate, internet penetration rate in the region. We also have a 75% mobile penetration in the market. But do you know that 52% of the payments in Qatar are still collected manually or by cash, which means there's a huge room for fintechs and banks to come in and come up with the innovative solution to reduce this percentage. Also, I strongly believe the e-commerce penetration is going to rise by multiple folds in next coming years as well. When we are talking about all the benefits and adoptability and so on, it is also important that we look at some challenges that the digital payment face in the market today. And there are areas that we can improve and we have to work on. Some of them is already highlighted by Dr. Sita. So innovative regulation is very important. That means the regulators needs to really leverage the responsible innovation in the digital in the digital payment domain and allow the non-banking entities to enter into the market. Collaboration, Dr. Sita have highlighted a lot, and I strongly believe banks, fintechs, and other institutions, regulators, and government bodies need to collaborate to really build this ecosystem. In order to make the digital payment acceptable in the market, we really need to work towards a more cost-efficient infrastructure so it can be widely accepted. Interoperability is vital across banks and other service providers. And other last but not least, I would emphasize on the cultural change, and financial institutions really need to let go of legacy systems and embrace a digital banking solution. And the reason why I say this is in future, the future of banks will be the digital enabled banks. That means they need to have infrastructure or the platforms which are modular, they have AI element to it, and they offer more value to the customer. And it is forecasted that most of the banks and Doha Bank is also leading this digital transformation in the market when it comes to digital transformation and adoption of emerging technologies. And this will be a focus of most of the banks who really who do not want to lose this market. They have to go through this digital transformation process. With this, I'm just towards end of my presentation. So I just want to quickly give an introduction what we do as Tuela. So we are a Qatari omnichannel technology company. We are part of Tuela Holding under the leadership of Sheikh Mashal bin Hamad Sahim Al Thani. And we offer our solution in different market verticals. Fintech is one of the key. Other than that, we also offer a solution in e-health, e-commerce, security, and audiovisual domains. And we build our solution across different domains on AI and IoT platforms. Now, when it comes to the Fintech portfolio, we offer an indigenous payment gateway platform in collaboration with Doha Bank, which is a PCI DSS compliant platform, which enable merchants basically we enable them to go online and accept digital payments through their e-commerce channels or on apps. We also offer to the market a smart POS solution. We also have developed an e-invoicing or e-billing solution in a bilingual for those merchants who cannot afford or manage a comprehensive e-commerce platform. So basically, by using this, they can accept payment digitally via WhatsApp or SMS or any medium they want through a payment link. Apart from that, we also work with different banks, and we offer platforms to enable bank, which is 100% modular solution. And our platform offers switching, card management, fraud management solution for different banking institutions as well. With this, I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Sita and Doha Bank, for giving me an opportunity to speak about the future of payments today.
That's well done, Norman. Very well presented. And you are not repeating anything. Now, you only complimented a concept note which I've given. I have two questions to ask you. Tell me, what are the key expectations from generation Z and Y? You are on practice now. Tell me.
So generation Z and Y, they are going to contribute about 70% of the total workforce globally. And if I give you an example, people of my father's age, for example, who is now savvy in using smart mobiles and so on, they also feel that they can do transaction when you show them, when they see that the transaction can be done much easy in a very easy way online, they prefer to do that. And so this is from the generation G, and from Y, as I mentioned, millennials are the highest adopters of the digital payments. They like to make things easy. They do not want to stay in the queues, do a lot of long paperwork and so on. And this also gives a room. Why not Qatar to have a digital? Why not Qatar should have a digital bank which has no physical presence, but it's operating completely digital, like other countries are doing it. And I don't see a reason why Qatar should not also have a digital bank as well.
No, in fact, I've been talking to the central bank governor and deputy governor that we need a guideline to set up a digital bank so that many of the financial institutions will definitely come into play. Now, what you said is interesting. 52% still use cash.
That's a big number.
Yeah, it's a very big number and bigger opportunity as well. So what are the opportunities and challenges for Internet of Things? It's not only all the wearables and whatnot. Everywhere you have Internet now embedded. So opportunities and challenges, how do you see IoT?
So in IoT, so at the moment, people are still looking at IoT from the industrial perspective, and I see we need to bring a little bit of more focus into ease of payment by using IoT platforms. At the moment, I see there's a drive in the market, but that's more from the industrial perspective, from automation perspective, and I see when it's going to hit more the consumer segment, home automation, when you bring in more IoT devices into your daily use, not only in industry, this is where the digital payment will become more relevant.
How do you see the scope for artificial intelligence in Qatar? I just want to confine to Qatar. So
Pardon me?
Artificial intelligence.
Oh, yes. So AI, so the future is about data. So one is to collect data, and the other one is how you process the data. And for financial institutions, it's also very important because banks and financial institutions are sitting on a lot of data. And if you use AI platforms or AI-based enabled platform, you can really make use of these data and increase the value for the customer, not only increasing your business, but also a value for the customer. You know your customer better, and you can tailor-made your solutions for your customers as well, which will enable you basically to have more loyal customers as well. So this is one side of AI. AI has many application and use cases, but we will see more use cases coming in for digital payments as well. And this is one example. I can give you many examples on AI application on the financial domain.
I'm sure Suraj will talk about monetizing the complete data through artificial intelligence, I'm sure. So the approach is very meaningful, and Qatar is good scope. And that's what we are resolving by this conversation as such. Thank you. Well done, Norman. Let me move on to the next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me move on to the next speaker, Mr. Abdul Mohsin Abdullah, Chief Operating Officer, co-founder of C-Wallet. Mr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sitar, for the wonderful speech you had. And we would like to thank Doha Bank for organizing this webinar, and also thank all involved in this event for this awesome webinar. Let me share my screen. So my topic will be about payment trends in Qatar and GCC, and it will be revolved around important events, which is after COVID-19 era, and how C-Wallet idea was an added value for the Qataris market and ecosystem. Today in 2021, with major shifts taking place every day right before our eyes, this reality seems even closer. We are now seeing even more momentum towards cashless culture, with thousands of businesses rolling out new cashless payment methods, and some even outright refusing cash payments due to hygiene precautions. We have already seen some of the world's most developed nations taking this change very seriously, with the central banks around the world discussing the introduction of digital currencies within the next 5 days. Whether these currencies will replace or complement physical money is still to be decided. But it is clear that governments are responding to this largely global trend. The US in particular has had further discussion in recent weeks about the reality of a digital dollar to reduce the spread of potential infections through coins and notes. This came after China conducted a deep clean on much of their physical cash stockpiles to reduce the chance of viral spreads. Meanwhile, in central banks in the United Arab Emirates, South Korea, Canada, Singapore, and the European Union have also been exploring ways to introduce a digital currency for their citizens. In Qatar, as a case study, C-Wallet was newly founded, and its direction at this time was to empower the unbanked people to get access to the financial services as a part of a financial inclusion ecosystem, targeting to minimize the cash dealing in our society to maximum. Could we consider cash is our competitor and only nobody else. So Sea Wallet is a Qatar leading financial service company that offers full stack payment solutions to consumers, offline merchants, online businesses. Our solution is designed to help increase the conversion by giving you the right payment methods. Our mission is to build a world-class digital payment ecosystem that translates into better conversion and enables a digital payment solution for unbanked consumers, and banked consumers, offline merchants, and online merchants. Our products simply we have CPay, the e-payment gateway, and we have C-Shop, our marketplace, and of course our Sea Wallet mobile money. I'll be talking in each product a little bit more detail. So for the Sea Wallet mobile money, it's a wallet, it's a mobile money and digital wallet service specified in payment, remittance, and payroll. It acts like a super app where users and merchants can manage their daily financial transactions from one app, such as paying and accepting payment, paying bills, booking, top up, donating, paying and receiving a salary, send money across border, and etc. Sea Wallet mobile money has been developed by Sea Wallet Services to let its users and merchants make and accept payment using compatible phones supporting contactless payment using QR codes and tap-on-phone technology. Basically, we through Sea Wallet, a user can pay using QR code technology, and as a merchant of Sea Wallet, you can accept a QR code payment as well. Moreover, we are partnering with MasterCard to enable tap-on-phone technology, so Sea Wallet merchants can accept payment from card users through NFC technology, as much as accepting payment from Sea Wallet users through QR code and NFC. Also, as a Sea Wallet user, right now you can send and receive money to and from any Sea Wallet user. Moreover, our partnership with Aldar Exchange will enable our users to use cross-border transfer to global wallets, bank account, and cash pickup services as well. Furthermore, in our horizon is to integrate with the local wallet. Also, as a user, you can pay online using the Sea Wallet payment option, and as a merchant, you can of course accept payment from Sea Wallet users. Through Sea Wallet, user can get access to a different kind of services and products from one app, such as I said earlier, bill payment, booking, transportation, and ordering. And also we have the pay and for the delivery, you can make payments and receive payment on delivery. I'm not talking about the Sea Wallet mobile money. Now we're talking about the C-Shop, our marketplace. C-Shop is a Sea Wallet marketplace which will enable the user to get access to the most demanded and paid services and products locally and globally from one place. C-Shop is a one-stop solution and a marketing tool suitable for both offline and online merchants to extend their customer reach by offering their products to C-Shop users. For being a merchant of C-Shop, no need to connect with an online payment gateway provider. Sea Wallet will enable for you an omni payment channel. With one integration, you will accept all card payments, NABs, credit card, wallet payment, even cash payment from your customer. Also, for being a C-Shop merchant, you will be able to offer your customer discount coupons, and you can run cashback campaign. If you are into a physical product services, no need to worry about delivery services. C-Shop provides a fleet management solution and delivery service to deliver your product to the customer on time. For CPay, CPay is one of the C-Wallet services which has been built to help C-Wallet in achieving its mission and vision, and to serve different categories of business, starting from government, semi-government, and big enterprises, reaching to enabling the micropayment businesses to digitize their own businesses by accepting the modernist digital payment. CPay is all-in-one payment platform designed to enable businesses selling goods or services online and offline to accept payment, expand quickly, manage risk, and track results, all from a single platform. It's accepting different payment options. It's accepting different payment options. We also have our e-invoice. We are offering our e-invoice and payment link to offline businesses, enabling them to digitize their business. The features, so you can fully customize your invoices. You can have your brand logo. There's no need for a website. And also, you can send invoices to your client through email, SMS, and social media. And you can schedule recurring and subscription-based payment. Now, what are the app features for the C-Wallet user? Now, as a C-Wallet user, you can payment schedule for your regular payment bills, rent, and other dues, and keep your mind free of hassle. You can control your expenditure by setting up a limit and or alert for periodic spending per category without nightmares. Also, we have an expense tracker for you, so you know where your money goes day by day per category. Also, we have the instant transfer from C-Wallet to C-Wallet, from C-Wallet to any local wallet, and from C-Wallet to a non-wallet user. Also for the our loyalty points, we have it for the user, where you can start redeeming your wallet points and others points through any wallet merchant and or C-Wallet services. Also, we don't forget our reminders. For you can have under your account the accounts with your children. You can start monitor and control your kids' spending and forget the daily cash. Now, covering the user, now we go for the merchant. What are the benefits and features for the merchant? You can get access for creating customized sub-merchants for your sales team and branches. Also, you can create sub-payees under you, and start splitting your payment between partners and vendors in just a click. You can increase your income resources by getting access to C affiliate services. Also, you can increase your reach and be part of C-Shop or C-Wallet marketplace. And you can get access to e-invoice and payment link. And we have our payout system. We will be the only company in Qatar offering our merchant a fully automated payment payout system. Merchant can request a payout at any time, and payout can be done through different channels: bank transfer, cash out, through withdrawal through a C-Wallet agent. And also we have our real-time dashboard and the details and reconciled reports and the relationship manager and email and telephone support. By this, I would like to thank Doha Bank for giving us the opportunity to participate in this fruitful webinar, and for inviting C-Wallet and myself. I do hope we will see great partnership in the future with C-Wallet and Doha Bank. Thank you very much.
Sure. Well done. That's a brilliant presentation. A lot of utilities, Mr. Abdul Mohsin. C-Wallet has got so many utilities. I myself learned a few things now. How do you position C-Wallet in relation to your competition from, say, Apple Wallet or Google Wallet? How do you position?
Well, we do have, these are really very, as you mentioned, Apple Pay, these are very competitive and very high sophisticated competitors. But we do have a chance to expand here in Doha, and we have very good chance. It is big competition, not easy, but we see the challenges actually, and we're willing to defeat those challenges, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a spirit. That's good. You're ready to face the giants. It's interesting. Now, in terms of remittance, you did mention about Aldar, your collaborations. How do you see your remittance offerings in relation to, for example, what do you do or others? Remittance.
Yeah, okay. For remittance now, as I said, since we are not the only one in the market, so we have there are others, and with Aldar, and also we're gonna with our partnership with them, we will launch it soon. Eventually, then we're gonna have our own license, and we'll start to do it ourselves. So the idea is to have the inclusion, and we include everyone in the ecosystem, and we do not leave one behind. And this remittance is also as I said before, it's in each there are competitors, and we are all in one ecosystem. So we are all going for one goal, is to serve and accomplish Qatar's vision for a cashless society, cashless contactless society, and hopefully we'll be managing to do that.
Good. That was Mr. Abdul Mohsin Abdullah, the COO and co-founder of C-Wallet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you must have enjoyed these two presentations. Now we have Mr. Suraj Datta, the partner and leader for payment and services, Ernst & Young, professional of par excellence in his own respects in the payment service industry, financial service industry. He's a consultant, and I'm sure with his perspective and the diverse knowledge base, let us listen to his presentation to see what he has got in store. Mr. Suraj.
Thank you very much. Let me see if I am able to share my screen first of all. Right. Is that visible?
Yes.
Fantastic. And you can hear me okay? Perfect. Thank you. So let me take a slightly different tack. A lot of very relevant and very insightful discussions that have been had so far on the innovative new payment mechanisms and the trends. If I can switch the focus and look at those phenomena from the perspective of, so what does this mean for established banks, as well as for the financial infrastructures in national economies? So that's the lens I'm taking. And the macro point being innovation and disruption in payments from all these clever new fintechs like C-Wallet are going to continue. This potentially has a material impact on established banks for whom 20 to 30% of their profits, not just revenue, directly or indirectly come from payments businesses, right? And that's quite a big chunk. And most banks around the world are in some shape or form looking for ways to succeed in this environment, which has not been made easier by the events of the last 18 months with COVID-19. And the most immediate impact of that is the predictability and the reliability of payments, right? The whole remote working, whether it's remote working or disbursement of furlough payments and social support systems, the payments infrastructure in any country is the backbone of all of that. And there's been a lot of national regulatory attention on that topic. Now, the unfortunate reality has been that over time, the payments infrastructures that exist, even without all the clever fintech stuff, has become unsustainably complex, right? If you think about even a national payment within national boundaries, through traditional banks, you have your correspondent banks, you have your intermediaries, you have the real-time gross settlement systems, et cetera, et cetera. And if you think about international payments, then you have the messaging networks in the middle as well. And on top of this infrastructure, it is being built the next generation, whether it's the card networks or fintechs or wallets, et cetera. So the long story short, this has led to fairly severe incidents in payment infrastructures around the world, including the UK, including in South Africa. And that in the midst of the pandemic has in some cases led to regulators loosening some of the historical protections they've had for the traditional banks, right? To the benefit of their societies, of course, but that of course is an impact. The other point to consider, of course, is for better or for worse, it's ultimately the established banks on whom the burden of fixing this infrastructure will fall, right? And the challenge will be even greater as the newer payment mechanisms add more complexity. So whilst one of the elements of the future of payments is the predictability and reliability, there is a lot of work to be done, and a lot of this heavy lifting in the medium term will fall to the big banks. Is one of the implications. The second perspective that we have as EY on the future of payments is that payments has, in essence, has always been a very personal event. I pay you, Dr. Sitaraman, or I pay my local grocer, or I receive payments from my parents as a child. It's just that traditionally the way payments have been set up, it's required us to go through fairly impersonal bulk mechanisms. But a lot of the technologies that we have spoken about in this discussion even has enabled payments to finally be person to person, for example, right? And that's for the millennials, the Gen Zs, the younger people, that's the only experience they've grown up with. And that effect is only going to increase. So that essentially means even traditional payment systems will have to adapt to person-to-person payments at a retail level. Even at a retail level, for whether it's through wallets or through other contactless payment, peer-to-peer contactless payment mechanisms. This is, by the way, also creating and enabling new businesses like Klarna and Afterpay, the buy now, pay later mechanisms, which is intimately tied to personal credit scores. Now, there are other issues with those business models, but the personalization of payments at a retail level is only going to accelerate. And this effect is increasingly being seen in corporate and B2B payments as well, right? And this is an area where the fintechs, again, have stolen a massive march on established banks, because the reality is the fintechs are succeeding in disintermediating even corporate payments by taking a very industry sector and vertical focus on the very customized solutions they provide. So for example, a solution for a big chain of retail stores might be processing large volumes of small payments instantaneously, effectively, whereas the payment solutions, as the slide says, for a hospital group might be more related to invoicing and bulk reconciliations, right? And again, the newer breed fintech payment companies are succeeding in this area. Banks are beginning to catch up, for the most notable recent example being JP Morgan and some of the healthcare specific payment solutions they are coming up with, and that's a trend being followed by other banks worldwide. As a side note, one of the interesting side effects of wallets, obviously wallets are essential for peer-to-peer and a variety of other payments, but one of the side effects is that it's increasingly taking huge volumes of cash or payments out of the national payment system, which is creating an interesting headache for regulators, which is partly the reason they are increasingly getting into central bank digital currencies. So for example, e-krona in Sweden is directly a result of the Swedish central bank being worried about how they could continue to effectively control the money supply and transmission of fiscal policies if most of the payments, if most of the cash is circulating within Visa and MasterCard networks, for example. Similarly, in China, the EU one, it's interesting that the largest payment mechanisms, Alipay and WePay, are actually not going to be initially part of the payment infrastructure providers for their digital currency at its launch. So that's a space to watch out for. The third element of the future of payments we're seeing is that it's going to be everywhere. Again, it's moving on from a very individual event. I need to make a payments as an event to I am living my life and I just happen to make this transaction as part of living my life. And this is the point around open data for payments and how payments are increasingly embedded in other things like Dr. Sitaraman in your IoT embedded payments point, right? And again, this is some interesting implication. By embedding their payments capabilities, fintechs again have gotten a leg up on traditional banks to the point where some of the largest fintechs in the world now process a greater volume of payments than many even large banks. And of course, the visibility of transaction flows and the data that goes with it about our
technology can look at it.
Sorry, is everything all right? Hello? Can everyone still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Suruj.
Ah, fantastic. Sorry, I thought I lost you for a moment.
No worries, go ahead.
Let me see if I can share my screen again. Otherwise, I'll continue talking through. I was at the point of talking about embedded payments and the advantage that's given fintech players in getting into having access to that massive data stream of payments and the information it provides on our individual preferences and lifestyle, which then allows them to provide additional services. As various people have said, that's leading to the growth of payments ecosystems, which are becoming essential. But again, this is an area that most banks are still figuring out how to monetize. Whilst they all accept it's essential, it's still not clear how they are going to monetize the ecosystems. The other problem being, in any given space, in any given national boundary, there is ultimately only room for a very few large ecosystems because it's a network effect, right? So it's leading to a winner takes all, who gets there first and makes it work first sort of challenge. The fourth element of the future of payments is increasingly there's an expectation that all payments are real-time or at least perceived to be real-time, right? Now, given some of the complexity of the traditional payments infrastructure, the only way this happens today is through wallets, i.e. closed-loop payment systems. And that is an area where the remittances business has effectively been lost by the biggest banks in many countries to fintech players, like Wise, for example, or hopefully the likes of C-Wallet as well. And this becomes, and there is no way around this. This business, the remittances business, is being disrupted simply because the traditional model of correspondent banking breaks down when we talk about countries with illiquid currencies, i.e. beyond the sterling and dollar and yen and RMB. It becomes increasingly difficult to make forward payment cover to enable the recipient through a traditional bank payment network to receive the payment. And obviously, this is where this is has been one of the most successful areas for fintechs. I mean, there are ways, of course, banks can participate in this new model of innovation. They continue to have huge amounts of transaction data and huge amounts of customer information, that they can monetize, that they can leverage. They have to participate and collaborate with fintechs. That is the only viable model forward, we believe. But the challenges of how to make that collaboration work are still being solved. For example, most banks will insist on very certain ways that fintechs consume data from them and control access of those data flows, which will not work for many fintechs. But equally, the banks, on the other hand, have regulatory obligations that they need to fulfill, and that creates some friction points. There's the banks have the balance sheets. Again, in the remittances business, for example, anything that involves forward cover, for example, that's a massive asset that banks can leverage. But I think the overarching message is the feature of payments we see is one that's embedded, one that's real-time, one that's personalized and predictable, and that works through our collaboration of established banks as well as emerging fintechs, enabled by open data standards like the ones being promulgated by organizations like NACHA, and with API and microservices architectures. Let me stop there and see if there are any questions. Dr. Sitaraman, if you're speaking, I think you're on mute. Hello?
Dr. Sita, you're still on mute.
Finally, the gate is open. Well done. You summed it up very well, Suraj.
Thank you.
Absolutely a comprehensive summary of what's the value advantage in substance. So 4 P's are quite useful. These are very, very complementing all the rest of the speakers. So you summed it up so nicely. And I have a few questions for you. What are the challenges in implementing the APIs or open banking payments in the GCC, in your experience?
The challenge, so the two challenges, I guess. One, the simpler challenge to solve is the technology challenge, which is there needs to be agreement on data standards, on how we share data, banks and fintechs and other players. So that's one. I think the bigger challenge is the conflict of commercial incentives and the not surprising reluctance of banks to, well, most banks are still figuring out what this means for them and where it benefits them to open up their payments infrastructures, right? Now, there have been some notable movements, like in the UAE, for example, Network International being sold off by Emirates NBD as now a massive flourishing payment processing network, etc. But broadly, the commercial implications are still a very fluid phenomenon, and that will take time to settle.
So, in your opinion, now you're seeing diverse model as such. Which fintech payment players will be more significant in the coming 3 or 4 years? Which sector?
Of course, I think there are a few. I think one of the characteristics of the new payments landscape is its fragmentation, right? So I think we'll see champions by type. So, for example, someone mentioned Android Pay. In most parts of the former Soviet bloc, GPay is by far and large the biggest payment processor anywhere around, right? In Western economies, for payment processors retail, Apple Pay is a big player. For remittances, players like TransferWise, now Wise, have taken a big march, especially in remittances from developed economies to emerging economies. Then there are companies like Stripe, of course, are making big strides in corporate payments as well as retail payments. But increasingly, this is an area that's seeing massive investment from both VC funds as well as established players like MasterCard and Visa. So we'll have to wait a bit longer for the shakeouts to complete to see who ends up with the most innovative assets, apart from Google Pay and Samsung Pay and Apple Pay.
Mr. Norman was mentioning about 52% still cash in Qatar. Now, from your perspective, how the Qatar and GCC banks have realigned their business model to support to capture the payment opportunities, do you think?
So I think there's a few things a few things. One, most of the central banks in most GCC countries are probably some of the most forward-thinking and liberal in terms of enabling the innovation, right? So the regulations for digital payments. So I think that's a massive positive step. I think the second positive step is the sheer energy of fintechs in the region, and Qatar Fintech Hub being one of those centers of innovation, right? So I think that's a massive positive building block. I think in the more all sections of the income pyramid are included and have access to a lot of these financing mechanisms through fintechs, the more digitization will be taken up. Beyond that, there will remain cultural elements and cultural preference and traditional preferences for cash, which will take a while to die out. I mean, we saw the example when India tried to demonetize, and that led to massive social chaos because it was forced through without a lot of pre-planning. So I think there'll be remnants of that, but I think I'm positive that with the benign and supportive regulatory regime, with the fintechs and the energy we are seeing around the digital players, this will pick up pace significantly in the next few years.
You brought a spot on in your answer. Tell me, tech regulations now is getting more rigorous. We have seen in some parts of the world. Where do you see it's evolving? And it's difficult to distinguish between technology companies and banks in terms of financial service. We could see it now. Now, how do you see the changing phase of the tech regulations from a regulatory perspective? What sort of changes will come, you think? And the fintech companies, are they ready?
Well, obviously the consulting answer is always it depends. In reality, it will depend by size, number one, and number two, the regulators have a hard job in just keeping up with it, not just the pace of technological change, but also understanding the implications of that technological change, right? If you take something, I mean, for most of the people in this panel, things like cloud for financial services are given. It's a well understood phenomenon. But it's only now that regulators are getting their heads around what it actually means for the stability and security of the financial systems, right? And that's an example where in many countries, including the UK, including the US, regulation for cloud is moving in the direction where cloud providers like Google Cloud and AWS are likely to be regulated by the national financial regulators when they have a significant number of the systemically important financial institutions as customers, right? A similar trend, I suspect, will happen, or invariably will happen, for payments. Again, the likes of Google Pay and Apple Pay are being intensely scrutinized at the moment by the ECB as well as other regulators. So wherever there is a potential for a risk to systemic stability, we should expect the regulators to step in. Now, for fintechs and payments, the advantage is 99% of that is so fragmented that regulatory intervention is quite a while away, right? For the moment, the banks are looking to extract the benefits to society and increasing competition in their local financial services economies, and will adopt a light touch mechanism. But of course, I mean, the money laundering and financial crime surveillance will still be essential. But beyond that, we should expect light touch regulation for most of payments, But as payments players grow bigger, we should expect banks, regulators to be concerned about systemic stability.
Very interesting. Well said. Good. So you heard, ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to listen to this conversation I had. And Norman Gall, CEO, Twala Technology, Abdul Mohsin Abdullah from C-Wallet, and Suraj Datta from Ensnia. Brilliant conversations, I'm sure. As much as I enjoyed, you must have enjoyed. There are no other questions, but except I have got two comments, which I have to sum it up before I hand over to Mr. Sharif. One, Mr. Ahmad Wafiq Al-Masri has returned to me saying that, how do I get funded for my project, Fintech project? So you can approach QDB, Qatar Development Bank. The entrepreneurship has been very much nurtured in today's context, gentleman, Mr. Ahmad. And the banks are there. We can complement the QDB efforts. The equity can come from Qatar Development Bank. That's an Apex Banks. We all have arrangements, a program called Al-Damin on the debt side. We can support the innovators, entrepreneurs. Please come and explore. Qatar is a happening place. We want you to really participate. There are a few more comments. I'm not going to dwell on it, and I'm handing over to Mr. Sharif for the closing remarks and word of thanks.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you, our valuable guests. This takes us to the end of this exciting session, and looking forward for the next session as part of our webinar series. So good afternoon to everyone, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well done, gentlemen. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.